My name is Mike Ingalls, and I teach strings here at Hocking College. And my last few videos have been on the violin, but I'm actually by training a cellist. And my loyal engineer Todd has inquired about when I'm going to be doing more playing, and I said, well, if I'm going to be doing more playing, I'd do it on the cello. I want to talk today and do some educating as well as playing about a technique called string crossings. And it's something that's used by all the major composers. If you've been trained in the classical world, Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms, they all use it. I'll show you some examples from each. But I want to show you how it should be done, because I see too many cellists and violinists also that do it absolutely wrong, and I say, how can they do that? Well, I used to do it wrong too, till I learned the proper techniques. That piece that you just heard was Johann Sebastian Bach from his Suite Number 1, which everyone is familiar. It's used in lots of commercials. But later on, we've got this little episode over here called string crossings. Once upon a time, I was a music major, and then I got out, and of course you can't make a living in music, so I went to business for 20 years. But then I got the opportunity to try something new, and I decided I might try teaching music, and I went down to see my original cello teacher from many, many years ago and talked to her, and she said, oh, sure, be a music teacher, you'll be great at it. But I noticed there was this a series of exercises that we had never done, and I asked her about it. I said, what are those? And she said, oh, those are my pre-Bach exercises, and it has to do with the wrist. Because Bach is all about string crossings, like that little passage I just played. So we've got, it's done with the wrist. Now I see lots of people trying to do it. Well, you know, I have a motto. We are lazy people. What is easier to do, like this or like this? I say, with the wrist, of course. It's much easier to do. It's actually much cleaner than trying to use your shoulder also. Lots of composers use string crossings. Beethoven I mentioned. This is his sonata in A major. Again, what's easier to do? Like this or like this? You decide. Once you learn it, you'll say, how did I ever do it any other way? Now, there's some rules about learning string crossings. First of all, the bow, when you're doing string crossings, the bow should always be moving towards the string you're going to. When you're doing the Beethoven. Just imagine you have to move the bow much more in order for you to do the bow in the other direction. Secondly, decide what's the most important note. When you're playing that Bach, the melody is this. This is just an accompaniment. So that you've got to put a little bit of emphasis on the main melody note. That's real important when we get to bluegrass too, and I'm going to be talking about bluegrass a little later. Now I mentioned Brahms as well. He doesn't have a melody note. He likes them, I think he likes them equal. I don't know, I think. That's how it goes. This is from his Sonata Number 2 in F major. And it took me a long time to learn how to do that, because I was using my shoulder with every one. So there's the basic techniques. I'm going to be demonstrating this in bluegrass because bluegrass, man, they love their string crossings. it is just as important, if not more so. If you play the violin, you got to do the same thing. When you're playing the violin, if you try to go like this, man, you're going to tear yourself up. That's crazy. Just the wrist. That's all you need.